eczema, and I recently had a flare on my right hand, and I didn't think you guys wanted to see that, so I've got a glove on. So let's get right into it. A couple of them we might like gloss over just because I've shown them before. Okay, so first, I do want to say that I have this can of Coke Zero. Evidently they're having a Star Wars promotion, so Yoda's on it. So I'm gonna crack that open and drink it throughout the video. Okay, so first, I actually have my most favorite movie of all time, which is Blade Runner. Let me see. Okay, so yes, this is my favorite movie. Of course, it has Harrison Ford in it. Honestly, I don't really know the other actors' names in this movie. I probably should. Okay, so it looks like we have. It's honestly really hard to read it through the camera. I have no idea, but there are the actors right there. Of course, the movie is rated R, the final cut for violence and brief nudity. Director's cut is violence. I've only seen the final cut and the original theatrical. I've not seen the director's cut, and it's not actually director's cut. That's actually quite interesting. I wonder if there's actually nudity in that movie, because it doesn't say anything. And then the theatrical cut is rated R. Oh, and then right there we see Rick picking up the origami unicorn. Okay, so it says at the top here, it's a Blade Runner 30th Anniversary Collector's Edition. Once again, the unicorn in the front. So this is the Collector's Edition. Because, like I said, I haven't seen the other versions of this movie. We have the disc for the final cut, which is probably people's favorite cut of the film. Then we have some art panels, and then throughout this booklet, actually we have the thing that originally went on the back, but throughout this booklet we'll have like different photos and concept art, some pretty cool stuff. I don't think there's anything I can't show, like no nudity or anything, so I'll just quickly go through this. Okay, some concept art for the different characters. Rachel. I can't remember her name. Oh, there's Deckard. Some mannequins. Some more concept art for the cities, for the cityscape. Then we have Rachel again, Deckard again. Okay, and then we get back to the discs, and let's see if I can actually take this out. Okay, so right here we have the original and then we have the work print, which I guess is the really special. I think this is the like most exclusive version that you can get. I still haven't watched it though. And I believe this doesn't even have all the cuts in it. I believe there's like maybe 2 or 3 more than what's in this set. However, they have not been released, as far as I know. Anyway, I really love this movie. When I was about probably 11, my dad showed it to me. Of course, he closed my eyes for the nudity parts. My family was really against nudity, but I really love the cyberpunk feel. Pretty much any movie, I love the cyberpunk feel, so I really do enjoy that movie. And I also really love love stories, and Blade Runner is kind of a love story, so. Now, I have 2 other things. Well, I guess 3, but 2 other things that's related to the original movie. First off, I do have the final cut here, 4K. Of course, I think this was like one of the first things I got in my collection because I liked the movie so much. So I got this, and at the time, Amazon was advertising this as having the different versions, like I showed you in the other box set. But when I slipcover, but when I received it, it did not have a slipcover, and it did not have the different versions. It just has the final cut. So that was really disappointing. But I got the 4K, and then later on, I got the other Blu-ray set for the other versions of the movie. This really isn't that interesting of a box or anything. We've got the rating, the runtime, nothing too cool. Okay, for some reason they had a photo of somebody in here, I don't know why, but we have disc 2 and 4 on the top. These are DVDs. Disc 2 is Dangerous Days Making Blade Runner. I believe I've seen that. The Enhancement Archive. I don't know what that is really. I haven't watched it. I feel like a slacker. But we have the 4K back here. And then we have Blade Runner Blu-ray. And I also find this interesting. I mean, it's kind of a dumb thing to find interesting, but this says disc 1, and it's the Blu-ray in a 4K box set, and then we have disc 2, which is a DVD, and then the 4K isn't labeled, but it's disc 3 because this is disc 4. I don't know, a bit odd, I think, but yeah, I love this movie. And one of the things that makes me love it so much is actually the soundtrack that goes along with it by Vangelis, who's one of my favorite movie and in general composers. And I do have the CD right here. I believe my sister bought this for me before I bought the movie. Actually, I listened to the soundtrack too before I even watched the movie, because Blade Runner was one of my dad's favorite movies, and like he said, he showed it to me. But before he showed it to me, he used to listen to the soundtrack all the time. So I'd hear the soundtrack, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. So I got into it too, and then eventually he showed me the movie. But I believe I got this before I saw the movie. I may be wrong about that, but yeah, I got this before I even saw the movie, and my sister got it for me, and it was super, super cool because this is the Blade Runner trilogy, or music trilogy, 25th anniversary, and what that means is we've got 3 CDs. So CD 1 is the Blade Runner 1994 soundtrack album, and then over here is CD 2, which is unreleased music from the original movie. And then this is this 25th anniversary CD, which Vangelis made. I believe these are songs that Vangelis made specifically for this box set. And for the 25th anniversary, so it's not in the movie, but it's an extra soundtrack, and that's really cool, I think. So inside of here, we got a pink CD, a black one, and then a blue one. So not a movie or anything, but pretty cool, I think, for the collection. Okay, and then the last related Blade Runner thing is Blade Runner 2049 on 4K once again. Okay, so this of course has Ryan Gosling and Harrison Ford, as well as, I believe you pronounce her name as Ana de Armas. I may be wrong about that, I'm not entirely sure. She's a fantastic actor. Everybody in this movie is fantastic actors. Both Ryan Gosling and Harrison Ford is up there for my favorite actors, alongside Liam Neeson. Once again, not too interesting, but the thing I really love about Blade Runner releases is they come with a ton of features. Like the 4K Blade Runner movie had all the bonus features. The box set had the multiple cuts of the movie. The album had bonus discs, and now this has the 3 prologues to the movie. So we have 2022 Blackout, it's an anime, 2036 Nexus Dawn, and then 2048 Nowhere to Run. So yeah, that's pretty cool. It does not have the anime Black Lotus though. I believe that's the name of it. Which I wasn't really a fan of, but you know. Anyway, this is rated R for violence, some sexuality, nudity, and language. It actually saddens me because I feel like the original Blade Runner is so overlooked nowadays because of this movie. I think both of them are great, and the 2049 is really close with Blade Runner for me, but at the same time, I feel like we need to give credit where credit's due. I think both of them deserve love. Okay, moving on is actually, I think, a UK release. This is too big to fit in camera, but it's a box set. It says Nolan, and pretty much it's a 4K and Blu-ray collection. Okay, so we have on this side, we have Dunkirk, Batman Begins, Dark Knight, The Dark Knight Rises, Inception, Interstellar, and The Prestige. On the back here, this was my mistake. That doesn't sound right. I don't punish myself. I hate myself for scratching this accidentally. Christopher Nolan, I mean, along with a lot of other people, was probably like at least one of my favorite directors alongside Ridley Scott, but and of course he made some Christopher Nolan made some of my favorite movies, Interstellar being my top 10 and the Dark Knight trilogy being some of my favorite superhero movies. What was I talking about? I'm sorry, I have very low I'm a dumbass. I don't know what I was talking about, but yeah, I accidentally did this sadly. Anyway, this has a 4K version with original theatrical audio mix. I'm honestly not sure what that means. I don't know if that means it's the original audio, because I'm pretty sure they have. It is the original audio, okay. I thought they would have upgraded it. I haven't looked at this box set for a really long time, so I'm forgetting things. 7 mind-bending classes from critically acclaimed director Christopher Nolan. And then it just gives a description of all the movies in this box set. Like I said, Interstellar, The Dark Knight trilogy, I love them. I also, of course, love Dunkirk, Inception, The Prestige. All of them are brilliant movies. Prestige is really cool because it has Jackman. I love Hugh Jackman, and it had David Bowie. So I love Labyrinth. This has a 12 rating. So the front under the cover is just the same thing on both the back and front. Okay, so then we have the individual boxes again. They're the same covers and stuff, and the same backings. Oh, sorry. No, this is more technical info, and you can see. Of course, it won't focus because it's dumb. You can see the run times of that. Let me fix it again. Okay, so but the one thing I hate about UK or European releases are these ratings. They're so damn ugly, and they put them on the discs, and I hate it. But this is Dunkirk, although it doesn't really say that. Then we have Batman Begins, I believe, and then The Dark Knight with Joker, and then we have Bane on The Dark Knight Rises, and then we have I don't know what that says. But then we have Inception, beautiful photo. I'm actually thinking about getting the individual, solo, I don't know what you'd call it, but the release of Interstellar is separate from this, because I absolutely love the art that are the still they took from the cover of it. And then we have Prestige. Okay, the rest of them aren't really worth looking at. They're just, Blu-rays. This is just the movies on Blu-rays. And then this is just the special features disc. Yep. Okay, and then we have more Christopher Nolan, of course. I have Tenet here, and this is not my. Sorry. This is not on my favorite movies. I'd probably get this movie a 7 at most, and I know it's supposed to be confusing, but it's way too confusing. I love Christopher Nolan being confusing in his movies, but this didn't. I don't like this movie. The reason I have it here is just because it was a Christopher Nolan movie. I'm not even going to open it or anything. This is a 4K release. I felt obligated to get it because, it was 4K and Christopher Nolan. There might be a Memento release on 4K that I have to get, but so far, no Insomnia or following. Let's have some of my drink. Right here we have Oppenheimer, 4K Blu-ray digital. Most people know this one, especially because it's, of course, his most recent video. I have YouTube on my mind, that's why I said video. But it's his most recent movie. It has, of course, Cillian Murphy, Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, Robert Downey Jr. What does that say? Florence Pugh. My chair's infuriating me. This we have Kenneth Branagh in it. I love his wall under. So yeah, once again, just a basic 4K release, really nothing too special about it. There's the 4K, and then there's the Blu-ray and Blu-ray. Quite nice discs, but anyway, this is definitely one of my top movies from him. I don't remember his name because I know it's unpopular opinion, but I think the Avatar movies are ass. But whatever the director's name, I saw the interview with him talking about Oppenheimer. I don't know if any of you have seen it, but the worst take on the movie I've ever heard of. Absolutely horrendous. I don't even understand why people like the Avatar movies. Somebody explain that in the comments, why Avatar movies are so popular. I'm honestly curious because I thought it was just a, mediocre 2000s action movie. Nothing too special, but yeah, let me know what you guys think about that movie. It also feels like barely anybody talks about the movies after they come out. Like, there's a big hype thing about for like a month before the movie, and then during the movie, and then afterwards, you don't hear anything about it, but you hear all these things about other franchises. So, let me know what you guys think about the movie, and tell me why you like it, or dislike it. Okay, next, is Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. We have the One Ring on the front of this really nice box, and honestly, I could put all the Lord of the Rings movies on here, so the entire trilogy. I wanted to keep this video at some sort of respectable length, so I'm not going to go over all of them. I may do a review on the box set though that I recently got, the Middle Earth box set that comes with like the 4Ks and Blu-rays of all the Lord of the Rings and Hobbits, but that's for a future video. But this Return of the King, probably my favorite Lord of the Rings movie out of Lord of the Rings movie. I love them. I've seen the theatricals and the extendeds of both the Hobbits and Lord of the Rings. I actually grew up watching the extendeds of the Lord of the Rings, but so I never saw it until very recently, the theatricals. But I did watch the theatricals, and I thought we could, and I love the Two Towers and Return of the King extended editions. I think they're great. But with the Fellowship of the Ring, I feel like I'm okay watching the theatrical. After seeing it, I was like, I enjoy this movie a lot more as a theatrical movie rather than an extended, because I felt like the extended version was a bit long for my taste, and this is coming from somebody that loves 3 hours movies and loves the extended editions of The Return of the King, which is like, how long is it? Which is 4 hours and 20 minutes. So that's coming from somebody that likes a 4 hour and 20-minute movie. I just thought it was a bit long and boring, the Fellowship of the Ring extended, and I think I'm going to be watching the theatrical of that movie from now on because I feel like it's a lot better paced and less boring in my opinion, but I think it's also valid just watching the extendeds of all of them. Whatever you guys want, whatever you guys like to do. I just personally enjoyed the theatrical more. Also, there's so much walking that I can't watch. Anyway, or read. Theatrical and extended versions of the films in stunning 4K and newly remastered Blu-ray discs. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. I watched them was a bit worried because I believe January of 2024, I believe, I went to go see with a friend the extended edition trilogy marathon. So they were playing all the extended editions after each other. I think it was about like 12 hours long. And there were 20-minute breaks in between the movies, so you could get some food. But you were sitting in a theater for 12 hours. It was a ton of fun, I thought. But I was a bit sad because they decided to have, because it was really noticeable, especially in the third movie, like the CGI. And when I was younger, I would always watch it on DVD, so I wouldn't really see that stuff. But watching it in the theater, I noticed a lot of that, especially the overhead shots of the hobbits. I never realized that they weren't actors; they were CGI or animated. I'm not sure what you would call it, but so that was really disappointing seeing all the stuff they used, and that's what I was worried about watching the 4Ks and Blu-rays. And some scenes are noticeable in the third movie, but throughout the entire trilogy, they did a great job of keeping the CGI look as close to the original, and it's really hard to tell, honestly, what's CGI, and I really like that. I'm guessing why the theater, just because it was a big screen, made me notice things, but it wasn't the resolution, so that's really nice. Okay, we have the Lord of the Rings Return of the King theatrical 4K extended part 1, part 2, Blu-ray, and then Blu-ray extended disc 1 and 2. I remember my dad having the trilogy on DVD, and it was like that. I don't know if you remember, I might put up a photo. It wasn't the theatricals, it was just the extended, and they kind of looked like old books, and they would like flip out, I don't know if any of you remember that, but I always thought those were the coolest things, and they had like 3 discs for the extended. Okay, next up we have another trilogy, which is the One Missed Call trilogy. We have One Missed Call 1, 2, and 3. I am a really big fan of Asian, especially Japanese, I believe, horror movies, especially the ones that US studios based movies off of. So like The Rain is there's an American movie, but it's based off of the movie Ringu, which is probably one of the few movies I prefer the American version over. Some other horror movies that I really enjoy, one of which is Gunjam Asylum, which is Korean, I believe. Of course, The Grudge. I can't remember it might be called The Grudge. I can't remember the Japanese name for that. Anyway, Dark Waters. I do need to order Dark Waters, and of course the Ringu trilogy. But Dark Waters, absolutely amazing film. You guys should check these out, the ones I'm saying. But anyway, so the One Missed Call trilogy, and I actually got into this because my sister is really big on Japan and stuff. She watches every anime imaginable, which isn't a bad thing. I know she's upset with me when we were younger, and she still is, but she's upset with me because I'm not a huge anime guy. I haven't seen too many animes. I've seen 1 or 2 episodes of Attack on Titan, My Hero Academia, shows that I've seen in full is a Shield Hero Rising, which I really enjoyed that show, but it got ass after the first season, so I just watched the first season, and Promise Neverland, which I also only watched the first season of. But anyway, she got me into Asian horror movies, and this is and the original One Missed Call was one of the first we ever watched, and it's honestly not rated that well, but I really enjoyed it. I fell in love with this movie a lot. I absolutely love it. I have seen the second one, and it is a bad movie. My sister liked it. It was okay. It wasn't really anything special. I really liked the first one, so the second one is whatever. I have not seen the finale, so I'll have to watch that. But yeah, One Missed Call 2 is mediocre. I just enjoyed the first one, but I did get the box set, One Missed Call trilogy, and then we have all the bonus features and stuff, and the information. It's Region 1. It's an Arrow Studios release, not rated, although I believe on IMDb one of them is rated R. So 110 minutes. Oh, sorry, 112 for the original. How much does that say for the second? 105 for the second, and then 109 for the third. Okay, so here's disc 1 with the One Missed Call, and then we have disc 2 with One Missed Call 2 and One Missed Call Final or Finale. And sorry if you can hear dog barking. There's an annoying dog outside. And then right here we have the alternate image. I love Arrow releases. I don't have too many of them, but I really like them because sorry, I'm watching the screen and it's hard to tell what's what. I love Arrow releases because of their alternate covers. I'm actually trying to decide what I should buy next. So if you made it this far in the video, comment below which one do you think I should get. Should I get the Resident Evil collection or the Friday the 13th collection? I believe Friday the 13th is by Arrow Studios and Resident Evil isn't, but two big box sets, and I want to know your guys' opinion because I'm honestly not sure. No, I know. I haven't seen neither of them. I've not seen any of the Friday the 13th movies or Resident Evil movies. Don't hate me in the comments. The entire point I want to buy both of them at some point is because I want to watch them, so let me know which one I should buy first. Okay, next is kind of a religious movie, I guess. But also I feel like this is a really good movie for non-religious people. It's Sound of Freedom by Angel Studios. I believe the same people who made Chosen. God's children are not for sale. I am a Christian myself, so I really enjoyed this movie. But I feel like if you're not a Christian, it's not doing your face about it, and it has a good message for pretty much anybody. The entire point of the movie is about how bad child trafficking is, and it's a really emotional and sad movie, and I actually had a bit of a hard time watching it, but I think it has a good message for everybody, and I'd highly suggest watching this whether or not you're a Christian or not. Sadly there is a sticker thing here, but this is the steelbook. I bought it from their website because I liked the movie so much I wanted the steelbook. It's PG-13 for a whole list of things. violence, language, sexual references, some drug references, and smoking throughout. Anyway, pretty much what this movie is about is this guy gets his two children taken by sex traffickers, and he goes to this guy played by the Jim. I'm not sure how to say his last name, so I'm not even going to try. This is a 4K Blu-ray, by the way. But if you've seen Passion of Christ, which is a movie I need to get, I also really like that movie. But he plays Jesus in that movie. That's the main thing I can think of that people would know him from. Anyway, so he gets this guy to save his daughter and son, and in the beginning of the movie he manages to save the son, but then he has to go on this entire thing about saving the daughter. That's like the least spoilery version I can give you. But yeah, definitely give this a watch. Sorry. It has really good messages in it, and about sex trafficking, against sex trafficking, and it brings awareness, I guess, to it. Oh, and we pretty much, it's just like black and white discs. Wait a minute, which one's 4K? I'm not sure. Wait, is there? Oh yeah, okay. I was like, where's the 4K disc? But it's right here. Okay. Most movies don't make me cry, although recently I've been a lot of things have been making me cry. But I watched this movie like a couple years ago when like nearly nothing made me cry, and it made me cry, so definitely a good watch. Okay, next we have Star Wars. Honestly, I'm not a Star Wars fanatic or anything. When I was really young, my dad showed me the original trilogy, and of course, since I loved the original trilogy. And then when I got older, he showed me the prequels as I got older, and then this is probably the last movie he showed me. Then Rogue One, and then, but since this was like the most violent or whatever, or scary, he saved it for last. So we watched them in release order, I guess. But I absolutely love the original 6 movies, and some of the TV shows on Disney Plus is pretty good. Rogue One is good. Sequels are absolute ass. I hate it's trash. Do not watch the sequels if you have not seen Star Wars. Watch the original 6 and Rogue One. But the TV shows are fine. There's Mandalorian, which was okay. It wasn't for me. I really liked Andor. Obi-Wan Kenobi. It was a bad show. Okay, it was whatever. It has a place in my heart just because I really like Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's my favorite Star Wars character. Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi. So it has a soft place in my heart, but so yeah, I have a soft spot for it. Not soft place. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm sleepy, guys. I had to get up early today. Anyway, Star Wars Revenge of the Sith Episode 3. It's that basic Star Wars thing. This is the widescreen special edition. I have all 6 movies in this. I do plan to get the 4Ks at some point. I just cannot bring myself to spend like $30 per movie on 6 movies. That was, I guess, 7 because of Rogue One. I cannot bring myself to spend that much money at the current state. Just for 6 movies. Natalie Portman. Obi-Wan Kenobi, played by the beautiful actor Ewan McGregor. Anakin Skywalker, played by the beautiful actor Hayden Christensen. And then we have the dual Mustafar, I'm not really sure. Back here just lists all the special features and stuff. For some reason this isn't showing up well on the camera. We have an insert here, and then we just have disc 1 with Darth Vader, and then disc 2. But out of the Star Wars movies, I absolutely love the original trilogy. Although I'm not, as I've gotten older, I don't have a huge love for A New Hope. I think it's a good movie, but out of the other Star Wars movies, it's lower on the list, at least with the first 6. Empire Strikes Back is great. Return of the Jedi and Revenge of the Sith are probably my favorite Star Wars movies. And then bottom of the list is Phantom Menace and Attack of Clones. I just think the writing's off, However, I am a defender of the prequel trilogy. It does not deserve all the hate it gets, and I'm happy people are recognizing that. And I also don't think that Hayden Christensen deserves hate, and I'm also happy that he's getting recognition now, so that's nice. Anyway, talking about Return of the Jedi, we have Return of the Jedi. Oh no, wow. This is Star Wars Episode 6. Wait, I should show that. So we have Luke Skywalker with this green lightsaber. Probably my favorite lightsaber. My favorite color is green, so I love the green blade, and I'm not sure the lore of it really, but it has a very similar design to Obi-Wan Kenobi's lightsaber. I can't remember the lore of Luke's and Obi-Wan's, but I really like the design of Obi-Wan's, and so this is probably my favorite lightsaber because it definitely has the same base design with my favorite color as the blade. So then we have Han Solo, played by Harrison Ford. We have an Ewok. We have Jabba the Hutt. It would have been interesting if they kept the human version of Jabba the Hutt. I wonder how the movies would have turned out with that. And then we have Princess Leia in her Slave Leia costume. Back here we have all the information. This is showing up better than the third movie. But like all the others in this like widescreen special edition set or whatever, the original trilogy, all 3 movies have the updated version or updated, and then original theatrical and disc 2. And I think this is one of the few box sets or series of DVDs that have the original theatrical. So, yeah. I believe I've seen both versions of all 3 movies, and I do know that there are more than just these 2 for the original trilogy, And there's like the Disney versions, I think. I don't know. The McClunky, is it McClunky? I don't know. And then I know people can go on about which one's better and all that jazz. I don't really have opinion, honestly. All I know is that Han Solo shot first, and the Disney version is ass, just like all the other most of all the other movies they make. So, yep. PG. Nothing too special. Once again, we have all the characters. I don't like the look Leia's given me right now. Kind of weird. Once again, we have a paper insert. And then we have disc 1 and disc 2. Now, before we talk about the last box set or movie, let me drink. I cannot have my favorites list without a Liam Neeson movie. At least on my top 20, there's probably somewhere The Commuter. I don't care if these movies are rated badly. I absolutely love them. I love it when Liam Neeson is kicking ass in anything, or just existing. So we have The Commuter. Recently, I saw Naked Gun, which was absolutely fantastic. I really love that movie. Best comedy I've seen in a while. I don't know if it's a controversial pick, but Cold Pursuit, which I do not have in the collection. I need to get that, and in Blur's list, which I also need to get. I love all four of those movies, but we have taken the collection. Back here, once again, it's PG-13 for all of them, and then all three unrated extended cuts. I believe the first two are extended. I can't remember. I thought some of these are like a couple of these are extended, and then the other one, I know the unrated's just add like more blood in the original movie, as well as more sound effects. I'm not sure how many actually have runtime differences. Let me see if it says. Okay, it does not list runtime differences. However, up here on the unrated it says extended cut, and then the other two say unrated. So I believe this is actually extended the first one, but the other two are just added core and stuff. I've seen both versions of all of them. Honestly, a 13-year-old can probably handle both versions, but I really love Taken, the original. Taken 2 has a soft spot in my heart. I don't know, my brain is not working. I think it's a soft spot in my heart. I really enjoy this movie too. I don't care about ratings, like I've said before. And then Taken 3, it's mediocre. I mean, it's definitely the worst out of the three. It's still a fun movie. You know, it's action with Liam Neeson. All the fight scenes in these movies are pretty good. Just Taken 3 was although it probably has the biggest plot twist. Well, not really plot twist. I won't try and spoil it if you haven't seen the movies, but in the beginning, it had a sudden thing happen, and I was not expecting it, and it was kind of like, whoa. So that was a pretty cool part of the movie, but yeah, nothing huge, honestly. But we do have Taken 1 here. Get in, thank you. Then we have, I believe, double stacked. Taken 2, which I have on the bottom because I watch Taken 1 and 2 more than I do 3, so I'm not as upset if Taken 3 gets scratched. But these cases are pretty good at not getting scratched. Once again, this is a movie about sex trafficking, not specifically child sex trafficking. Although yeah, it kind of is about child sex trafficking because the first one, his daughter gets taken, and and she is a teen, so which is child sex trafficking. But pretty cool movies. I highly suggest checking these out, and don't take them too seriously. I mean, I take the first and probably the second one a bit pretty seriously, but when it comes to the third one, just have fun with that movie. Don't get caught up on whether or not it's a good movie. So that will be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and as always, if you have any suggestions about live streams, which I've started doing recently, so check them out. Mondays at 7. If you have any ideas for games I should play or things I should talk about or do or get for video, let me know down in the comment section. Please like, subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And I'm trying to post more often. I know that I haven't posted in a while. I'm not sure if I'll continue with Resident Evil 2. I'm currently playing Resident Evil 7 on live stream, so maybe when I'm done with that, I'll play Resident Evil 2. But yeah, just let me know any ideas you guys have for videos. So